Okay, let's come to a comfortable seat. I'm doing a little focus this week on that concept of the lens with which we view things. And that includes our bodies and our minds and what's going on. Last week we focused on this idea of working from a place of presence and awareness. And when we do that, it enables us to actually look a little bit more clearly through this lens, this perception, and to actually see with a little bit more of a real look at what's going on. Because we all have a perspective, we all have a narrative around what's going on in our bodies or around us. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that narrative is wrong. It just means that we can recognize that it's our story, right? And so sometimes we can even shift what we have to say about whatever's going on, okay? So as you move your sitting bones and do a little rooting down through pressing into your upper thighs, little movement through your pelvis here, checking out what's happening for you. Can you give yourself a little description of what's going on that doesn't have to do with a judgment of what's going on, but instead is just details? Then sitting tall, lifting up through your sides, draw your shoulders up and back, let your eyes close. You can relax your hands to rest against your legs here if you would like, or you can take hands together at heart center. Wherever that is for you, take a couple big breaths and move your breath even more thoroughly so that you're filling into the lowest part of your belly and all the way up into your upper palate and crown of your head. Now, if you haven't already, bring hands to connect at heart center and gently press palms. Let elbows lift a little and then engage shoulder blades onto your back again. Take another big inhale and sit even taller, lengthening your spine more. Exhale, bow toward your heart. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down and give your shoulders a couple rolls back. And then a couple rolls forward. And then lift your shoulders up and back, lengthen up through your sides again, and then reach your arms up overhead. And as you reach up overhead, you can clasp here if you want, or you can just reach your hands, whichever feels the best, but begin to lift up with your front, draw shoulder blades onto your back, and then whether your hands are clasped or not, take a little side to side movement here, side sway to one side and then the other side, lengthening from hip to armpit. And then as you come back up to center, take a gentle twist over to the left. Inhale, lengthen your sides. And exhale, draw low ribs in to help you twist a little bit more. Now inhale, reach up overhead. Again, clasp, or your hands can be separate, but take that side to side sway again. And then take that twist over to the right side. And as you lengthen your sides, draw low ribs in to help you twist. Inhale, back up to center, arms lift, reach up high. Exhale, hands come to your heart. And as you gently press your palms, lift shoulders up and back, tuck your chin down. So maybe your forehead touches your fingertips, letting the back of your neck have a little bit of length. Take a full big breath. Then inhale, lift up tall, switch the cross of your legs. Coming to that less comfortable cross for yourself, shift your sitting bones, moving them back and broad. And now reaching right hand across to your left shin, knee, or thigh. Left arm reaches straight up toward the ceiling. Root down with both sitting bones. Lengthen through your left side, and then maybe stretch to the right a little ways. Take a full big breath. Inhale all the way back upright. Pause in the center with your hands coming out to your knees. And move through a couple rounds of your cat and cow here. Inhale, belly and heart forward. And exhale, press your spine back. A couple more deep breaths. Then inhaling, sit tall, lengthen your sides. Now reach. Left hand across to wherever it feels the best for you. Then lengthen your side, and if you'd like, you can stretch right arm to the sky. Both shoulder blades are on your back. Lengthen your right side a little more, and then stretch to the left a little bit. Full big breath. Inhale back into center. Hands work to your knees. And again, just a couple rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, belly and heart forward. And exhale, press back. One more full breath. And now inhale, sitting tall, shift forward, come to your hands and knees. And from hands and knees, we're going to take a little bit of movement from here. So if you would like to set something underneath your knees for some cushion, you're welcome to. But otherwise, root down through palms and fingertips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push, expanding into the upper back. Inhale, reach back with your right leg. Turn open with your hip. Bend your knee, press your heel toward the left side. And now engage your low belly. Take a full big deep breath. And now exhale, step right foot in between your hands, working blocks under hands if you want, you don't have to. Work back with your back knee so it's behind your hip, center with your hip, extend your heart. Take a deep breath. As you take one more big breath, lengthen your spine even more, hip to armpits gets longer. And then walk your hands to the inside, and you're going to heel toe your front foot open to the right. Left hand can be on a block or the floor. We're going to take a twist to the right. Right hand to your knee. Put your left shoulder blade on your back. And now lift up with the front part of your right foot. So you're on your heel as your pivot point. And then open it up. As you open it up, you're turning your knee from the hip socket. And from this place, we're going to do a little forward and back movement with our hips. As you take this, if it feels better to you to have both hands down on something here, you can. Or you can stay in that little bit of a twist. One more movement forward and back here. And then heel toe your foot back into center and settle back onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, big toes together, knees wide, settle hips back all the way to heels, taking that child's pose here, moving through your hips, inching fingertips a little further forward. Take a full big deep breath and check out what's happening for you for sensations. Notice what the specific sensations are without any kind of judgment. And as you inhale, rise back to hands and knees. And now as you reach back with your left leg, turn open with your left hip, bend your knee, press your heel toward the right side, and pause. As you push your hands down, expanding into the upper back, also engage the low belly. Big, deep breath. On your exhale, you're stepping forward with your left foot in between your hands, Right knee can work further back here if that's in your practice. Extend longer through your sides. Take a deep breath. And now walking hands to the inside, your heel toeing your front foot open to the left. So your knee and toes are off from the same angle. And then left hand comes to a block or the floor, your choice. Right hand to your knee as you start to take this twist. Push down with your right hand and think of lifting up and out of your right shoulder. Now, lift up with the front part of your left heel and then open your leg up. And again, you can always be with hands on the ground here if that feels better, or you can be taking that twist. But now a little forward and back movement with your hips here. This is something that through a little bit of working with what actually tends to impinge the sciatic nerve, this is one of these movements that sometimes helps it to release a little bit. Let's take a couple more big breaths. And then back into center with your foot and settling back onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Then keep that, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. Take a couple big breaths. Root the palms, root the fingertips. Rotate elbow pits forward again. Shift your shoulders a little forward and from lats, push out through your hands. Maybe your hips lift higher. One more big breath here. And then walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. And now bring hands to hips. Press back on hips, lift your shoulders first and rise all the way up to stand. And now from this place, take feet a little wider than hips, a little bend to your knees. And with that bend to your knees, lift and spread your toes and then root them down. Turn your palms open. And as you close your eyes here, take a moment for a full deep inhale that helps you grow longer. Long, full exhale. Feel that rooting action into the ground. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Take a hold of your right wrist and stretch over to the left side. And from this place, even with your feet, keep a little bend to your knees. Turn your right shoulder a little more open. And then turn your right shoulder down, even as you keep your hips even toward the front of your mat. Take a full big breath. Send inner thighs back here. Pull your right low ribs in. One more big breath. Inhale, back up and open. Switching wrists. Exhale over to the right side. And again, a little bend to your knees. So you have an evenness with your feet. You're keeping even with your hips. Turn open with your left shoulder. Plug in with your shoulder blade. And then turn down with your left shoulder. Keep your left hip from turning to the right. Draw your low ribs in on the left side. Take another full big breath. Send the inner thighs back. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Release your wrists. Exhale, hinge and fold. Taking that wider stance here. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Send your heart forward, sitting bones up. Exhale and fold. And now from this place, we're going to take a little bit of a twist, a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. So bring blocks underneath your hands, extend your heart forward, send your sitting bones up. And now, right hand out in front of your right foot so that your wrist can stack underneath your shoulder. Right knee keeps a bend, left leg works towards straight. Take your left thumb into your hip crease and give a push back onto your upper thigh. Think of sending your left sitting bone up even as you turn your belly and your heart to the left side. Draw shoulder blades onto your back. Big, full, deep breath. Exhale, both hands come down to your blocks. Now set left hand in front of your left leg. Right thumb into your hip crease. Begin to bend your left leg. Right knee stays straight as you work your right sitting bone up. Extend your heart further forward. And turn your belly, turn your heart toward the right side. Again, shoulder blades on your back. Right sitting bone lifts. Deep breath. Exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Heel toe your feet back into inner hip distance apart and parallel. You can come down to the floor or fingertips on blocks. Step your right foot back into your lunge. And then come up onto the highest point of your blocks again if you would like to, and work your front leg towards straight. Wrapping your right hip, or your left hip rather, back. Send your heart forward. And now as you work a little straightness into that left leg, extending your heart, take a full big breath and notice for yourself, give yourself the information. What's going on for you? Inhale, bend into your front knee. And now we're taking right hand to a block or the floor on the outside edge of your mat. Left hand to your knee as you take the spinal twist here. Wrap your left hip back. Push your right toes down and let your right hip lift even as you turn your belly and your heart to the left. Maybe stretch up, big breath. Exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Inhale, step forward, and exhale, fold over your legs. Planting fingertips, stepping left foot back into your lunge. Pause, and again, you can always come up to the high point here of your blocks. It's a helpful way to get long through your spine. Work your front leg towards straight, and then wrap your right hip back, even as you push your right big toenail down. Sitting bones lift, extend your heart, long spine. Notice, what are the details here? Take in the information. What are the sensations? Then inhale, bend into your front knee. Plant your left hand, again, block or floor, your choice. Right hand to your knee. Start to turn your belly and your heart to the right side. Wrap your right hip back. Push down with your left toes. Left hip lifts even as you turn your belly. Turn your heart to the right side. Shoulder blades on your back. Maybe stretch up. Big breath. Exhaling, both hands come down to the front of your mat now and step all the way back, downward facing dog pose, and take a big deep breath. Then lower knees down, hips to heels, take a child's pose. Two more big, full, deep breaths. And now inhale, rise up to your hands and knees, and we're going to take a little bit of a different hamstring and inner thigh stretch. Some of you have done this with me before. Go ahead and step your right foot through in between your hands. Blocks are handy here, or you can always have something like your bolster close by. And now you're going to work your front leg towards straight. We know and love this hamstring stretch, of course, but press your heel down so that your knee lifts and send both sitting bones up. And then for just a moment, keeping your hips level, rotate your leg. Whole leg rotates in your hip socket to give you that little bit of feedback from different parts of your hamstrings. And now you're going to walk your hands to the left side, out in a diagonal. You can, again, have blocks here or whatever you're using, but then rotate your whole leg. So your toes are pointed to the left, and now send sitting bones up. You can even turn your left leg so that your toes are coming off to the right side if that's more comfortable for you. From here, as you send your sitting bones up, extend your heart And then begin to work down as low as your body needs. That might be all the way down to elbows. That might be all the way down onto the ground. That might be staying up higher. But extend sitting bones up, extend your heart. Take a full, big, deep breath. One more full breath, send your sitting bones up even more. And then work up to your hands, and we're going to come back into center here. And as you come back into center, bend into your front knee, and then work hands to the inside here. Extend your heart, maybe work your back knee back a little ways, and then work down toward one elbow, maybe two. Take a full, big, deep breath. As you grow longer through your heart, through the front of you, keep pushing down with your right big toe mound and wrapping back with your right hip. And then rise back to your hands, settle back to hands and knees, and from here, switch sides. Left leg comes forward. And then come up onto the highest point of your blocks and work your front leg towards straight. You can shift where it is. You can always bump it a little further forward if you need. Think of that stacked place for your back thigh, straight up and down, and then push your heel down so that your knee lifts a little on your left leg. Wrap your left hip back, send sitting bones up. And from here, with hips staying level, start to rotate your leg like you're waving hello with your foot. Again, this gives you a little bit more feedback through different parts of your hamstrings. And now walk your hands to the inside. And again, we're going to turn our left leg to the right. So your toes are in to the right. Right leg can turn as well to give yourself that little bit of a base here. And then as you send your sitting bones up, extend your heart and start to work down as low as your body is ready for. Coming all the way down onto elbows is great, but if that's too much, then stay up higher. Take a big breath and send sitting bones up. Extend your heart further. Full deep inhale. Long full exhale. And then gently work your way back upright. And you're coming back into center. And then bending into your front knee. Work hands to the inside here and take that hip stretch, working down toward one elbow, maybe two. Maybe you stay up high. But think of your big toe mound on your left leg pushing down, your left hip wrapping back, your spine getting longer. Think of the front of you. Your front likes to shrink here, so try to move your ribs forward, your collarbones forward. Big breath. And then rise back to hands, and we're settling back onto hands and knees. And then all the way to sitting bones. And we're going to come down onto our backs and make sure that you have easy access to all of your props. And now from this place, footprints to the ground, walk your feet out a little ways and drop your knees in together to touch. Hands come to your hip bones. Take a moment here as you let your eyes close to breathe into your body. Send your breath fully, all the way into your low belly, all the way up to the crown of your head here. And as you do this, start to give yourself that information. What's going on for you in your body, in your mind? Notice what your narrative is. Walk your feet in a little ways. Now hug your right knee into your chest. Extend your left leg all the way out against the ground. And as you take a big breath here, hugging your knee in toward your side, in toward your chest, wherever that happens to be. Take a full breath and notice what's there for you. And then switching legs, left leg in, right leg extends out. Take a full breath. Notice that compression against your side or against your belly. Again, wherever that feels the best to you, notice what's happening inside, what's happening in your mind, and switch legs. And now this time, open your right knee up to the right side, flex your foot, and give a little bit of movement here. Take in the details of your hip opening, what's happening through the hip socket, any sensations that are there without any kind of story around it, without any kind of judgment. Just notice the details. And then bring your knee back into center, give it a squeeze. And then switch sides. Left knee in, right leg extends. And open your right knee up to the right side, flex your foot, and do a little forward and back movement here. And then notice for one more moment how this side feels compared to the other side. And now footprints to the ground. And think of a butterfly pose here. So grab whatever you're using for props, soles of feet together, knees open wide, and find that place where you can rest your legs open without any effort from the hips, from the glutes, from the low back, allowing for this to be a really comfortable place for your body. And if it's not comfortable, then you can switch positions. You don't have to stay here. But reach your arms up overhead if that's in your practice and start to add a little bit of movement through the pelvis. Take in the sensations and the details. Again, without any judgment. The judgment is the narrative. We can take that away. And when we do, we can start to see more clearly. And now relax your arms down by your sides and start to find your most comfortable resting pose, whatever that is for you. Again, you can stay right here. You can set a bolster underneath your legs and extend them all the way out. Take the time to find the most compassionate place for yourself to be, to rest. Begin to take a deeper breath. And gently add movement into fingers and into toes. And as you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to one side. And slowly press yourself back up to your seat using as little energy as you can. And with hands coming together at heart center, eyes closed, take another moment to move through your body with your mind's eye, just taking in the details. Try to keep any judgment language out of your observations here. Full big breath. Notice what's there for you. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.